Hello, welcome to Local Sports Wrap-Up. I'm Joel Adkins sitting in for Jet Set Janeski off in Sin City.
Imagine that.
Mr. Ken Brown, you just got back from Vegas yourself.
March. We always go for March Madness. It's a beautiful time. Probably my favorite road trip is to go to Vegas during NCAA basketball. So, yeah.
Now, does the wife join you on that trip?
We've got smart enough where the fellas started taking the wives over the last 7 or 8 years, and then that way you make sure the trip happens. That's right. Yeah. No. Girls are better at planning things than men, and they're more. Yeah. She's going to make sure that it happens no matter what. So thank you, Chantel, for making sure that happens.
Yeah, anytime we do an out-of-town trip, I'm much more, it doesn't bother me to just wing it. Play it by ear. We'll see how the day goes. But the lady, that gives her anxiety. I was like, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll have a good time, I promise. Yeah, no. This weekend, what did you do?
So, my oldest son, Lincoln, his soccer season officially started.
Okay.
He's been practicing for a few weeks. He first started playing last spring. So this is technically his third season because they do spring and fall.
Okay.
His team was very young last year. Kids played hard, but they didn't pick up a win. So going into this season, quite a few of the same kids were there. And the first game Saturday. They game Saturday and one Sunday. This is through the AYSO at Memorial Field.
Okay.
So his team, they've got the other team pinned in. I'd say 90% of the game, and they can't get it into the back of the net. And I'm watching Lincoln. I'm like, wow, he's being a lot more aggressive than he was last year. Because I noticed last year he'd be kind of timid. If there was a pile up or another kid went for the ball, he'd kind of back off. I'd be like, no, go for the ball, attack the ball. And I noticed Saturday he was going after it. He had 4 scoring chances. I'm like, man, even sprung one of his teammates trying to do a scoring chance. But still, the game's deadlocked at 0, a couple minutes to go. And again, they're pressing. And I think his teammate took a shot. I believe it careened off the goalie. And Lincoln was right there to clean it up, put it home, scored the game winner, only goal of the game. It was 2 minutes to go. It was so cool. He was so excited.
Did he run, do a slide?
Oh, he might have slide, but he turned around, jumped, had his arms in the air. And I feel good obviously for him and for his whole team because they had a rough season last year. In fact, they didn't find the back of the net once last year through 8 games.
Okay.
They improved.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big field.
It's huge.
So then they had their game Sunday, and they played the defending champions, and they fought them to a 2-2 tie. So 3 goals through 2 games, quite a bit of improvement for them. Yeah.
Man, and it's funny that you mentioned soccer. My son Nick's playing soccer. And on Saturday morning, we went to play soccer in Detroit, Jane Field. He says, Dad, we got to stop and get some gloves before the game. I need gloves. Because he's the goalie.
I was going to say, you're playing goalie?
And I didn't know this, and it's the most, and I've had kids that pitch. Obviously, they're hitting by themselves, basketball, different stuff, but I don't know if there's anything like a goalie. And I say that because every play comes to you.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know how he's feeling, but my heart's in my throat whole time. And I'm like, Nick, why'd you pick this? But 2-2 tie. That's what they ended up doing his first game in goal. But they got 2. They were up 2-0, and the coach switched him out. And they got such a small team that he had to go play forward or midfield or something. So it didn't he come out the game or anything.
Right.
But it's heart-wrenching there and watching your kid at goal and you can't help. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. There was a moment, usually at the half, I don't know if all the teams do it, but Lincoln's team seems to. They switch the goaltender.
Okay.
Even if the goaltender's doing spectacular, I think they just try and get the kids in different positions.
Sure.
And for a moment there, my heart was in my throat because I thought Lincoln was going in goal. And I was like, oh, don't put my kid in goal because I don't know if my kid's got the attention span for that.
And it's like weird stuff, like you don't know the rules, but I think that their coaches do a good job of explaining it. Nick's playing on two teams, one in Detroit, where the aggressiveness you're talking about is evident.
Yeah.
But then we play in Taylor, and the kids aren't as aggressive for whatever reason.
Play Heritage Park?
Yeah, Heritage Park, huge field. And Nick played goalie that game too, and they lost 3-0. They had ample chances to score, but they never kind of put it in.
Yeah.
And but I don't know. It was just tough for Dad. It was a tough Saturday.
Yeah. No, I was happy with our weekend. You know, coming away 1-0-1, scored a goal. It was real cool.
You win.
It was a neat, neat little thing to see as a dad. So, yeah. Congrats, son. Nice call.
Good job, Lincoln. As far as on the softball front for Wyandotte, the girls had a busy week this week. All right. So if you think about it, they played on the 1st, the 2nd, and then they had a doubleheader on the 4th. So they had 4 games. We're looking through the statistics thanks to Game Changer, and they only got 2 pitchers. Ellie, that Coach Janeski, Jet said coaches, and then a girl named Grace Papler. First game on the 1st, Wyandotte lost to Trenton 10-4. Now, Papler did hit a home run, and she took the loss on the mound. Another kid, Peyton Sabo, actually had 2 hits that day. But then on the 2nd, they come right back, and they beat Garden City 11-4. That's the kind of game we talked about. The interesting thing about that is that Papler, who hit a home run the day before, actually hit 3 home runs against Garden City. She went 3 for 5, 5 ribbies, 3 home runs. So Grace Papler had a heck of a day, all right? And then Ellie was the winning pitcher on the mound, Ellie Eisenegger. 6 Ks, 2 walks. She got the win. And then, so Saturday, they actually played 2 against Plymouth Salem. They had a doubleheader. They lose 12-1 the first game. Ellie's the only one that had an RBI. So they lost 12-1. Then the doubleheader, the second game of the doubleheader, Wyandotte wins 7-6. Peyton Saba has 2 RBIs. Emma Jordan has 2 hits. So it's a whole team thing. Yeah. So it looks like the girls for Wyandotte, which we know they're young, but they stepped up, had a 2-2 week this week. And Grace Papler's knocking the cover off the ball.
Now I believe you told me before, because your girls played softball. In softball, we mentioned the close proximity of those games. There's no rules on how frequently a pitcher can go?
No.
Okay.
I guess science shows you that throwing it underhand doesn't mess with the arm like how a boy would throw overhand or in baseball. So it's a weird thing, but a pitcher can pitch all the time.
Well, I guess that's good because you said they only have the 2 pitchers, right?
Yeah, of record.
Yeah.
But fun fact, I actually went to the Michigan game yesterday. Softball took my daughter and her team. They went to Michigan against Ohio State. And those girls, if you look at their statistics for the season, Michigan, I think, is 38-16. Their pitcher was 25-5, 25-8. So they only had a couple pitchers going, too, even on the collegiate level where they're going to play 50 games.
Yeah, to be able to have the luxury of running your ace out there anytime you want.
Every day, yeah.
In softball, there isn't, we may have talked about this before too, there isn't really relief in closing pitchers like in Major League Baseball, like traditionally how Little League is set up.
No, I think that the way that you would do it is if, for example, if Grace and Ellie were pitching and if you thought Ellie was the ace and then you got in trouble, you could bring your other pitcher in.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about the Michigan pitcher yesterday, it seems like her best pitch was off speed. So it wouldn't be like the closer. And I was thinking kind of like you, like the game's close. Maybe they'll take her out and put somebody in that's throwing a little harder. But they didn't. They never did. But 2-1. And the center fielder from Ohio State hit 2 home runs. Those were the runs, So it was a really good game. It was senior day there, too. So it was good to see a lot of the Little League and travel teams out there. But no, softball is an interesting game where your best pitcher can go all the time and make a difference. So pitching wins definitely in that sport. I think Caroline might have the other downriver scores for us.
Baseball here?
No,
Or are you talking about softball here?
Yeah. And
Let's see. This is from April 26th. Trenton over Bedford, 11-4. On the 27th, few scores here is Woodhaven 7-1 over Petoskey, and then Woodhaven 13 to taking on Oxford, beat them up 13-1, and then Woodhaven again 6-1 over White Lake, and Riverview says 19-8. Oh no, I'm sorry, two doubleheader there. Riverview 10, Wyandotte 1, and then the second of the doubleheader was 19-8 in favor of Riverview. On the 29th, Allen Park, Lincoln Park, Woodhaven, Taylor, we don't have scores on those, but Carlson defeats Edsel Ford 4-0, and then Wyandotte over Southgate 12-2. On April 30th, Allen Park 11 beat Wyandotte 11-6, and then no score for Belleville and Taylor. And Allen Park defeated Lincoln Park 15-3. And then rounding that out, May 2nd, Allen Park continued to roll, beating Woodhaven 11-2. Wyandotte defeated Garden City 11-4. Trenton doubles up Carlson in a wild one, 22-11.
Wow. The overhits on that. No. It sounds like the girls are playing really good softball all through downriver. And they were busy, like we mentioned, with Wyandotte. Now, the boys' side on that, on the other side of that, Wyandotte played 2 games this week. They lost to Trenton 6-0. The boys did on the first. But then Wyandotte ekes out a 9-inning win over Garden City, 5-4. The winning pitcher was Anthony Piasecki. He had 6 Ks, 2 walks. And the hitting star for Wyandotte was Jaden McGowan, who had 2 hits, 2 walks, and the team had 5 stolen bases. So they played some small ball to get that win against Garden City.
You know, and I know walks aren't the most fashionable thing, but I played Little League and been a baseball fan my whole life. When the guy walks, that shows me a disciplined batter. It always killed me to see people get up there like they're chopping down a tree. When it's like, a walk's as good as a single.
Yeah. And depending on how fast you are, like this kid, you could be as good as a double or a triple.
Especially in a game that's close. You're playing small ball, like base runners are at a premium.
Yeah.
So you work a walk, get the walk.
And it's interesting that you say that, and I can tell you how that's profitable. So again, I think his name's Juan Soto. His name's Soto for sure.
Yeah.
Played for the Padres last year. And before that, I think he was with the Nationals. But now he's with the Yankees. If you look at his on-base percentage, it is astronomical because he's taking walks all the time. The other one that was really, really, really great at that was Barry Bonds. He was a great, he had a good eye.
Yeah. Well, and I think it speaks to situational awareness. Like, everyone wants to get up there and play hero, but sometimes that's not in the cards. And if the pitcher's not giving you much to swing at, don't be selfish. Take the walk.
Yeah.
Take the walk.
And if you can neutralize the pitcher to make him throw in certain areas, it's easier to hit.
Yeah.
You got an idea which way he's got to come. He's got to come. It's 3-1 now.
Right.
I know he's coming. He's been successful when it's outside, so I'm going to go that way. So, no, I agree with you. Wow, myself, when I played, I didn't care about getting many walks. I'm more of a free swinger. But I hate to take sign, but at the same time, I think that you're right. In the grand scheme of things, it's the thing to do.
I always, of course you want to get a hit, but I always felt like if I'm getting on base, I've done my job.
Yeah.
However if I get hit by the pitch, if I walk, whatever, get to first base.
And I think when we were talking about the soccer earlier, that grows even more when it's your kid. Just get on base. Don't swing at anything over your head.
Yeah.
Don't make a bad play. Come on.
That is, I no doubt you've gone through this. Especially like with the age that Lincoln's at now, because he and Nick are roughly the same age.
Yeah.
The league asks and the coach asks, like, hey, let's be positive from the sideline. Maybe let the coach. And I mean, I'm good for that. But you know, there's certainly, I'm talking to myself. I'm kind of like, come on, son, edge over a little bit. Or sometimes I catch myself if he's looking in my direction. I might be like,
stand up. Just make it better, easier. Just make it a little easier for you. Yeah. But no, man, the weather, I think it's baseball time. It's that time of the year. We're over the rain, and hopefully we just get some more 80. Mayflower should be blooming soon.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about downriver baseball. I know that Wyandotte only had the 2 games, which was kind of weird because the girls played so many games. But I guess it really was the doubleheader on Saturday that the boys didn't have.
Well, we got some scores here dating back to April 22nd. Woodhaven over Edsel Ford 12-3. Trenton over Lincoln Park 11-1. That was a 6-inning game. Wyandotte over Carlson 10-8. On the 23rd, Allen Park 11, Wyandotte 1. 24th, Allen Park over Edsel Ford 9-3. Wyandotte 5-3 over. I'm sorry, is that 15? 15-8 over Lincoln Park. Southgate defeated Woodhaven 6-2, and Trenton over Taylor in a tight one 2-0. On the 25th, Southgate edges Allen Park 3-2. It was Trenton over Woodhaven in a pitcher's duel 1-0. Carlson defeated Lincoln Park 12-1. Wyandotte over Taylor 5-2. April 27th, we got Flat Rock over Taylor in a doubleheader, 10-7, and then 13-12. Carlson over Freeland. Freeland took that one 7-4. E-Course. It looked like Carlson played 3 games here.
Must have been a tournament, yeah.
Carlson 6-3 over E-Course, and then 4-2 over Charlotte. Not sure where that's at. And rounding things out on the 29th. We had Edsel Ford 1-0 over Carlson, Southgate 6-4 over Wyandotte, and then on the 30th, Allen Park blasts Lincoln Park 15-0 in what looks like just a 4-inning game, and then Woodhaven 9-4 over Taylor.
Yeah, that's the rundown for downriver. Yeah. As those teams are stacking up and getting their place in the standings, because the district tournament is actually coming a lot quicker than we think. Yeah. Michigan High School baseball district tournament will actually start May 25th, and it looks like it'll run pretty much through June the 7th. And then after that, we'll jump into regionals, which would be the week of June 7th through the 10th for the quarterfinals.
Yeah, I mean, graduation's rapidly approaching. Roosevelt's commencement is Wednesday the 31st of May this year.
Oh, yeah?
Which is the earliest I can remember it being in my time here. You know, we cover commencement every year for cable.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, it's less than a month.
Yeah, kids are doing exams. I know my daughter graduates this week, so we're going to North Carolina this weekend for her graduation from college. So yeah, I guess graduation season is upon us.
Yeah.
You know, so that's good. Get ready for some awesome softball and baseball coming up as the district tournament is upon us. Now, they call it the regatta.
Yep.
Well, what do you know? You know much about the regatta? Is it a long-standing tradition in Wyandotte lore?
Oh yeah, it's been Wyandotte for a long time. They run the races on the river. They held it. There's one held this past weekend. And what you have there, Carolyn was showing me this earlier. They've got this booklet made up now, and if you turn it around there, they got some modern tech on there with that QR code nowadays, so you can take a picture with your camera and get the live schedule and results that way if you happen to see one of those out and about. And I know we've got clips from this past weekend. Carolyn was out there as a roving reporter, getting some shots, and
I'm trying to pull it out. See if we got it. Oh, there it goes.
So yeah, it's I think today. Carolyn showed me these clips before, and she mentioned, she said, they really make this. Look at the size of them.
And those boats, I remember from the first time I was here, those boats are $20,000 boats.
It was on the cheap.
Yeah, that was really cheap. cheap, but
They load their own boats, they take the boats out in the water. They don't have boats.
and there was a lot of competition going on in the 14A men's varsity 2 heat. Grosse Pointe actually won that one. But the 14B men's varsity 2x2 heat, Trenton won that one. And then event 18A men's junior varsity 4 heat, Grosse Ile A won that one. So it looked like you could have an A-B team in there. Overall, it looks like Roosevelt had a really good finish. The women's novice won.
It's that home water advantage.
It's the home water advantage, yeah. The men's novice, though, Carlson won. Six men's varsity 1 time. Grosse Pointe won that. Looks like Grosse Pointe's pretty strong, too. The women's junior varsity, the 8-person, that's only for exhibition. DBC won that. See if we can get to some varsity events. Women's, 9 women's varsity event. Carlson wins from lane 2. Roosevelt comes in second. It's only 7 seconds apart. They're fighting that water for about 6 minutes and 30 seconds. So they're out there a nice amount of time. The 10 men's varsity, Carlson won that, 5:38. Wyandotte finished with 5:42, so they came in second. DBC, for your information, is Detroit Boat Club, so they actually have a team. But the 12 men's novice, Wyandotte Roosevelt won that, and they won that by a whopping 22 seconds over Grosse Ile, which is a lot of time in the water. Here's probably my favorite team's name, the 13 women's varsity event, a team named Sandwich won.
Sandwich. That's a city, right? We talked about that before.
It's probably my favorite team.
Sandwich.
Yeah, man, making me hungry now. Then the men's varsity event, 14 men's varsity, Grosse Pointe wins. Riverview comes in second. 15 women's lightweight 4. Roosevelt wins that. And how about this? They win in about 45 seconds over Grosse Ile.
Wow.
The 16 men's lightweight, Roosevelt dominated that. They won that. The boys won that in 6:10, so they beat Riverview by 28 seconds.
Lewski was on the show.
Great to hear from Mark again. Looks like Roosevelt's name's going to be called a lot. They won the 20 men's novice. They won the 19 women's novice.
There he is.
Let's see what Mark's talking about.
Riverview, 7th place Crestwood, 6th place Sandwich, 5th place Trenton, 4th place Grosse Ile, 3rd place Grosse Pointe South, 2nd place Roosevelt, and in 1st place Carlson. On the men's side, in 8th place Sandwich, 7th place Trenton, 6th place Crestwood, 5th place Grosse Pointe South, 4th place Carlson, 3rd place Riverview, 2nd place Grosse Ile, and winners Roosevelt. Before I do the combined points trophy, I want to thank all of our volunteers who made racing possible here today. There are trophies for each individual race, so after your coaches give you your medals, you'll go send one representative of your crew to the weight room to pick up the trophy, and we'll take a picture with you on your race document set up there. All right, on the combined side, in 8th place, Sandwich, 7th place Crestwood, 6th place Trenton, 5th place Grosse Pointe, 4th place Riverview, third place, Roselle. Second place, Carlson. And first place, Weiner Roosevelt.
I can't look at myself.
No, that's great to hear, man. I marvel at kids. You know, I swim like a rock, so getting in that boat is different anyway for me. But for the toughness that they display, the discipline that they display by getting up so early in the morning and doing it, I'm sure that carrying those boats to the water is the least of something that they go through, because there's got to be murder on those waves out there.
If you're not awake by the time you get there, carrying those boots will
get the blood going. Get the blood going. So no, man, we're proud to host a Y High, and I'm glad that it turned out really well. I think that the QR code is the new technology that gets you right there. Somebody's adding it up. You can just hit it. It's updating right now.
Whatever your business or organization is, everyone got the smartphone in their pocket nowadays. Might as well use it to your advantage.
No, you're 100% right. Last week we talked a little bit about some signings, and we got a couple more signings. Woodhaven's Jimmy Ulrich is actually signed to play ice hockey at Oakland University. He's a defenseman, but led the team in scoring this year.
Wow.
He had over 20 points this year. They said they had kind of an off year, but he stood out. And he led them in scoring as a defenseman. He's also the #1 tennis player on Woodhaven's team, so he won over 30 matches in tennis, but he'll be going to OU to play Division I hockey.
Keep an eye out for that name as he maybe rises through the ranks. We got the 1 minute cue from Carolyn. If you want to get a hold of the show, localsportswrapup@gmail.com is the email. Jet said he'll check that when he gets back. So for me, for Ken Brown, that'll do it for Local Sports Wrap Up. Thanks for watching.